Yeah, hi, welcome back. Yes, in this section, let's look into that. So, how do we do that? Or, the backup and recovery options is how do you perform it? Yes, we see that with the demonstration. Yeah, let me start up the demonstration of the file compressions. Yes, what is the main utility that is available on Linux system is that's we have the tar utility. Yeah, so if you try to understand that, that is the backup and recoveries options, whatever we are doing that, the backup activities, what is the utility that we can say? The tar. Or we have the zip and unzip directory software also available. The zip, yeah, backup point of the zip also which we can do. But the tar is one of the at least the utility which we should know that. Yes, how do we use the tar utility? The zip is yes like give the zip and a file or folder. Yes, it is going to create like a .zip file. That's fine. But like tar, we are going to concentrate more on here. And the recovery options, yes, here also we are going to use it. Yes, the same tool, whatever the tool you are using to take the backup, the same tool you need to use it for the extraction also. Extraction you are doing is nothing but recovering of the file set. Here also the tar utility. Yeah, so how do we use this tar utility to perform backup? Backup you are doing is nothing but archiving and compression. And yes, once these files are available and if you'd like to recover it, yes, how do you do the recovery options with the tar? Now let me jump into that. That's like a practical section of this. Yeah, so now there's the command prompt. Yes, this is about our system where we are doing the practice. Yeah, first, how do you do that all these activities, or how do you perform all these activities? Yeah, the tar utility. The first, let me show that the creating. That means the I'm going to talk in this archiving and as well as compression. Yes, how do you create a tarball or like zip file? How we are whatever we are saying that tarball. Yeah, so suppose so the command which you are trying to understand it is that is a tar utility, and if you like to create a tarball which we can use that options. Yes, the tar is having the different options, and if you verify this the manual of the tar, yeah, the tar options. Yes, but here whenever we are passing the options, do you want to create a that means you do you want to compress that? Do you want to archive it? Or do you want to extract it? Or do you want to see the file content? Yes, we have the different options. Yes, here you can see some important CF that is helping about it to create a tar file, and a TF that is helping this to view that the files that is verbose, and XF that is extracting the files. Yeah, there are a CTX, and with the FEF file, F is represents the files option. And yes, we have like some other options also which will come back to understand it some important points. Yes, the manual which you can refer it. But how to use that command is the first you need to identify that the files which you would like to add into the tar utility. Suppose I would like to take the etc folder, yes, etc folder as a backup. Or whatever that, whatever that directly on the basis of the requirement which you can find it. Now that's like, let's do that. CTC for etc folder, whatever we have, you need to have the backup of it. But how to create a backup? Yes, as we are saying that creating point of C, right? Creating a tarball. C, but C is helping about it only that is archiving the files. That means all the files you can just archive it, but it doesn't do the compression. That means space wise you don't get the benefit of it. So C Z is that like which is going to helpful that is compression, as well as if that any file size if you are able to get it that compression. Yes, C Z, and V is like as a verbose and files. Yes, CZVF is the option which is recommended to use it while creating the files. CZVF, and what is the file that you want to create it? Yes, that file name, but extension is that .tar. Yes, in our Linux system the tar file extension is .tar. And we are doing this not just like tar is like as a just compression, adding all the files together as a single file. But we are doing that not only just compression, archiving also. Archiving, sorry, tar is just like archiving, but we are not, yeah, that's like a tar is archiving mechanism, but we are not just doing that archiving, we are doing that compression. So here a compression point of what other option we have used, z option. Z is option is helping that compression. Now what is the extension that we can get it up, that is gz is going to helpful to compare to, I mean both options point of view, the tar that is archiving the file, and archive with the compression, that is gz. So C is only archiving and Z is for that compression. Yeah, both options I'm using, but which directory does do you want to use it? Yes, etc is the directory. This etc. Now this enter etc folder, we are creating that as a, compression and archiving that with this directory. But etc, if you're going to use it, yes, we need to have the sudo permission. That is also important. Yes, this command is going to helpful. Now it is adding that all the files of that etc folder into the file where you can find it. What is the file name we have given is, yes, etc.tar.gz. Yeah, now this is the archive file. Now if you observe that this is size of 8 hyphen h, if I use it, it's around 9.9 MB which we got into that. But if I go to that tu hyphen hs, so this command is going to help to know that it is utilization of the folder, and you need to have that the permissions to get it. Yeah, actually this is having around 32 MB of the size, but after compressing we got it into that 9.9 MB only. See, that's how it is going to help with that. That is archiving the files. Yes, now enter etc, what are the files we have, how many directories we have, all that. Now I'm having this in the single file, and we have done like archiving and as well as compression, and which is having the 9, now the size is 9.9 MB size. And if you like to take that's the backup of it, yes, you can move to that which directory that you need it as a backup. This file you can take the backup, then enter etc, you have a backup. Yeah, that is a command, the first command which you are understanding, that is tar hyphen czvf. C for the archiving, Z for that compression, and V for the verbose, and A for files to list it. And this is the file it is going to generate it. This output file. Yes, what is the file name that do you need it? And the extension is .tar.gz. And which folder that do you want to create, like as a archiving the file? That is etc. Yeah, this is a complete command that is helping to create it. And while creating this archive file, can I give that the custom path? Yeah, so here we have used it in the same current directory, but if you need that in a different directory, yes, you can use it, the complete absolute path of the directory to where you would like to create this tarball. Yes, you can just pass it the complete path with our absolute path, and then it is going to helpful to create a tarball in that location. Now if you verify in the tmp folder also, yes, now we got it like etc file as a backup file. Yeah, the custom and the absolute path which you can use it to get into this in output directory. And one more utility what we have is here we are using zip mechanism. It is like as a gunzip option. Yes, dot gz, whatever we are talking about it, that is gunzip. So z is helping this to create the files in the gz format during compression. But tar itself is having one more mechanism which we can use it, that the bz file format also. Yes, what is the file extension? And if you just observe that the same file, I'm going to create it in the format of that, the bz file format, bz. And instead of the z, for the bz, like if we need it, the bz formats, then we need to use it in the tar command j option. So this is a j option which we are using, cjvf. And what is the file extension that is going to create it? This is like as a the zip mechanism, one type of binary, and which is compared with that gunzip point of view. If you just take it, this is large size of the file content to manage it, while compression time and extracted time, cost of that the files compression is very good, and as well as it is going to have the better algorithm than gunzip, the bjet and gunzip. Yes, now if I do this, but what is that option here in the tar command which you can use it? Remaining all the options are the same. The J for that is bjet files to create it, and Z for that gunzip files to create into that. That is slightly different, but remaining story is the same. Now if I run it, yes, we see that like the one more file, that bjet file that's created. Now if we just verify that ls command or ls hyphen, okay, so we have created within that temporary folder, right? That's within the temporary folder. If I verify now, yes, now we got it like a bjet2 also, and this is the gunzip file and this is the bjet file. And if I just verify both in human datable format, if I just check it that now bjet file, if you just observe that some are a better algorithm and which has come to that even 8.7 MB size only, but a normal gunzip which was having approximately the 10 MB, but it has come to that 8.7 MB. Yeah, large size of the file, like a terabyte files if you are going to manage it that. So this is recommended, the bjet mechanism instead of that gunzip. Small sizes wise you don't see that much difference, but like large size of the content, whenever you are doing that archiving the files or compression the file, yes, this is recommended. But how do we use it like a bjet option? So what is that option within the tar command? J option, J for bjet files, and the G for, sorry, Z for that gunzip files. Yeah, this is one more utility. So just try to understand it, that while archiving the files, while compression the files, we have the different algorithms, the gunzip mechanism or bjet mechanism, which we can use it. This one bjet files. And the next option, can I add it multiple files and folders to that my tarball utility? Yes, I'm going to use it gzip mechanism. And suppose now we have added here only etc folder, but not only that etc, I have some specific files to add into this gzip file. Yeah, we can do that. That is, suppose, let me just change it this one too. archive.tar.gz, and I would like to do that within the etc the password file, and I would like to do that within the etc folder group file, and within that etc something shadow file, and within that etc like something ssh folder. There are some important configuration files. So now you can specify like this. If you have this different files which you would like to add into that archiving mechanism, yes, you can pass that the file names, and now it is going to creating that's all these files with this within this archive. Now let me run it this. Yes, now you see that the password group shadow and sh folder related the content which we have thus, and all the files has been added, and it is created archive.tar.gz file. So like this we can use it multiple files also adding to the chip mechanism. It is like as a tar ball we'll call it, or a tar utility we can call it that. And one more scenario what we'll be having, sometimes whenever you are adding that the entire directory, suppose etc directory you are adding into the this compression the files, but you need to exclude some files. You need to exclude, you don't want to like add that those files to the tarball, but you need to exclude it. But if you have suppose 100 files, but I would like to add it only 4 files into the tarball, then which files that is required you can add it to that tar like that above command. But here the scenario you have like 100 files, but within that 100, 2 or 3 files you need to exclude it, and remaining files you need to use it adding into the tar mechanism. Then in that context, how you are going to use it that? Yes, within that tar like a utility. So we have this one more option, which we can say that exclude option. Yeah, hyphen exclude. So this is the option which we can use it, that the excluding of it. Suppose you don't want to add that all the files which are having something mkb file format, or you would like to exclude all the files which are belong to that something .config files. Yes, .config files you don't want to add into that archive file. Like that you can use it hyphen exclude. If you have those any cache files, or if you have those any .log files, yes, those files you don't want to add into the tar file, we can exclude the files by using hyphen exclude. Then czvf, and what is the file or directory that you are expecting, something like here I'm going to do that my home in the current directory itself. Yeah, for that I'm just giving that my home. And yes, that's which directory? Yes, the current home directory. Yes, now if I just take it from my home directory, if I'm having any .mk files or .config files or .cache files, and these files will be excluded, and remaining all the files that will be included while creating this home dot, yeah, my home dot tar dot gz file. Yeah, like this, the different options tar, which you can pass it as yeah, the tar utility. If we just observe that here we can use it cz, I mean yes, cz option, cjvf options, and you can pass this multiple files to while creating or archiving the files, or you can exclude the files whenever you are creating a archive files as well as. Yeah, there are some important options with the tar, which you can understand that. But now I have the tar utility. I would like to extract that the tar utility extraction. Now so far which you are understand cjvf or cjvf creating, that is archive files, and z or j are helping about it. bg files are I mean gif file series, gunzip file series is going to helpful to create it. But once the files are available, you need to recover it. But how do you do the recovery options? How do you do that recovery options on these files? Yeah, like I need to go for now extraction. If I have the 7G file, right click it and extract to here or extract to the particular directory, you can do that. The same thing how you can do that extracting the files is the tar hyphen x is for extraction, x, and on the base of the file extension, is it a z file, that is gunzip file, or is it a bz file? So if it is a gunzip, then cz where goes all the files, and which file we have, this is etc.tar.gz. If I run it now, like it is going to create one etc folder in the current directory. Now you see this, yes, it is created etc folder, and all that files which we have in this .tar.gz, it has been extracted to that etc. Yeah, so that is extraction xzbf. But now you have one more file, right? Like let me just check it, that yes, we have bz2 files also. So that is in that temporary folder which we are creating. Yes, bz2 file. But how I can extract this bz2 file? Yes, what is the option I can use it now in the tar command? Yeah, xzbf, that is for the gunzip file. But if you have like a bz2 files, xjvf, and the file name, but in the complete path, let me give it within that temporary folder. We have the ctc dot bz2. Yes, this is the file I would like to extract it. Yes, now you can yes, what it is doing is it is going to take the files and it is going to extract to that into the temporary directory. Yeah, the same I mean in the current directory wherever you are running. But can I extract all these files to the specific location? I don't want to extract to the current my user home directory. I would like to extract it to the other directory. Okay, let me do this quickly, creating that one directory that is my backup something. Yeah, now I would like to extract the etc.tar.gz file content to that my backup directory. Yes, my backup anyway that is available in the current home directory itself is this directory. But how we can do that, extracting that? Now here we can use it tar -xzvf, and what is the file which you would like to do that? Yes, this is the etc.tar.gz, but this file content we would like to extract to the that other directory. Now if I run this, it is going to use it in the current directory. But if you have this any specific output directory, then you can use it -caps C, and the directory name you can specify that my underscore backup. Yes, if I run that, now if I check it in the my underscore backup directory, yes, now we got it etc folder. Now you can see this all the files and folders in the etc. It has been extracted to that specific output directory. Yeah, so that's about extraction option, xzvf or xjvf on the base of that, like a .gz file or .bz files. And then normally it is going to extract to the current directory, but if you need to the specific to the other directory, then we can use it that -caps C option. Yeah, and yes, we are observing performance and like a bz file difference and gz file difference, and one more important point, while extracting these files, you need to use the proper um, the file format. Suppose now we have the files, bz file is not available, right? Okay, so let's take it my home.tar gz. Now I need to extract tar-x. Which option I need to use it? So this is my file extension .tar.gz. Do I need to use it xzvf or xjvf? Suppose if I use it xjvf, and if I pass it to my home, the zip file, what it is saying that, yes, bzip is not a bzip2 file, because the file which I have passed is that is not a zip file, right? Bzip file. So if you would like to extract that gz file, you need to use it the proper options, yes, on the base of the file extension which you have. And yeah, the file extensions, yes, you need to use the proper options within the tar. Yeah, tar cjvf, cjvf, xjvf, or xjvf. Yeah, finally these are all the options, the conclusion of that, the compressions. And one more point is one more option within the tar, let me talk it that without extracting all these files. Yes, without extracting all these files. Suppose in my home.tar.gz file, I need to check it that the particular something password file is there or not. Yeah, how I can check it that the password file is there or not in this tar file without extracting? Yes, what other option which you have is tar -t. T is like as a table format, table content output, and F is tar file, I mean the extracting, and in which file, that is my home.tar.gz. Normally if I run it, it is going to list all the files. It is not exactly extracting, it is just listing. But if we know that the grep option, right, from this command output you can use the grep with ignoring the case if you need it. And what is the file we are looking about it? Password. Do you see this? Do you have the password file in that I mean within this tarball or not? Yes, we have this. Yes, this is the password file. Yeah, from this output dot tar, T is helping about it without extracting. You can see, or if you like to see that particular file is there or not, or what all the files are there within that the I mean archive file. Then you can use it -tf, and you can pass that the file name. And here, like, yes, and from this output, and if you'd like to search for that any particular string, then we can use it the grep. We know already the file name, right? Yeah, even the bz2, sorry. Suppose in the temporary folder, we have the ctc, which is the bz file, right? Yes, even the bz2 file also you can apply that, whether that file is there or not, with the T option. Whenever we are using the T option, there is not required any Z option or J option. You can directly use the TF, or if you have this BZ file or GZ file, doesn't matter that. Yes, that is one more beauty from this T. The total CXT. But on the base of the file extensions, J or Z. And VV for verbose, that is viewing that all the files during a file creation or extraction, and F for files. Yeah, so that's about the overall command. But one more, just like let me conclude it, one more important point before closing this section. That is, if you're taking the backup of the files, current date and time, including while creating your files, is very, very important. As you are creating a tarballs or like, the gzip files or anything, use that date format within the file. But how do you use the date format while creating a tarballs? Yeah, normally how to get it that date format is date. If you give that, yes, it is giving that complete Saturday, May, and time and all that options. And if you need that the particular date option, then you can use it the plus percentage of the percentage. Yeah, this option is going to helpful to get it the date. And if you need that time, yes, we have a different option. You can just browse it like a date, which one is required. But just to get that concept while taking the backups, yes, the date format is recommended. Now, whenever we are creating sudo and tarballs and with cjvf or cjvf or whatever it is, then use that the notation or the file name. Yes, which folder you are taking that. Now I'm going to take that etc folder and pass that this command. But how do I pass this command is, so we know that how do we run the child command, right? How do we run the child command? These are sub command. Yes, use this notation. So far we didn't discuss it, but in the shell I'll come back like more options. Yes, if you'd like to run it, now you are running this command, but before running this command output, you need to use it within this command. That means the first sub command you need to run it, the command output you need to take it to this command. But how do we run that? The sub command is dollar within the sum in the parenthesis. If you specify that the date command, date, and which are the plus percentage f. Yes, so now this is going to help for etc hyphen and the on which date you are running that, the date it is going to append it. Now you can define that dot tar dot gz right here. Yeah, use that dot tar dot gz option on the basis of like z for gz and j for bz2. Then which folder you would like to create it, then specify the folder name etc. Yes, if I run that enter command, now we see that the etc, yes, etc with the date and date and a dot tar gz on which date you have taken, that's complete date, you can use it. Or if you like to write it complete date, yes, you can run that with the same command. If I use it the date, as now it is going to create with a yes, it is not taken that format. It's yeah, recommended to use it at the particular option, but it is not taken direct command of that date exiting with a failure status due to previous errors. What was the error? You can check it the sub command why it was not on that. But use that f option and hours if you need it, hours options, or seconds if you need it, second options at what time you are creating that. Yeah, with the date and with the particular options you can use it to give that, so it is started somewhere. Yeah, anyway, that's just get that concepts. Yes, this is the notation which you can use it, and we can go for that. Files with the current date and time, creating the backups is recommended. Yeah, that's about overall. the backup and recovery options whenever we talk it as a daily activities. How do you do that? The backup. So you just current which directory is required the backup. Use that tar mechanisms or zip mechanisms and create like a archive file and compression it. And whenever the files of the folder is corrupted, just take it and use that tar xzvf that is extracting that. Yeah, so there are all options are going to play important role within the tar command. Just work it on it and practice of that. The next lab guide will be given. Just do that, the lab guide on it. Yeah, thank you. That's all from this section.